Yes, beautiful people, we are here for now for my favorite part of the show, the interview with the guest. And today we've got somebody that I'm very, very fond of, an absolute sick person, sick artist. As I said before, he can do backflips, front flips. He can slap your nan quicker than any fucking E Honda could. This guy is multi-talented, and yeah, I'm just very, very chuffed to have him on. And this is Kemikali. Kemikali, brother, how you doing?
Come on, bro. What an intro. What an intro, man. Yeah, I'm good, bro. Good to see you. Good to see you, my brother, man. It's
Always,
uh it's a, it's a
always.
pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
And
all good,
yeah, man,
man.
happy to kick back and jump into some good chat, bro.
Yes, defo, man, defo. So, I've got my new background here. It's not new at all, but I thought I'd give it a try. You can see
Looking
you got
good,
yours
bro.
as well, looking
Yeah.
absolutely pristine. Look at mine. Mine looks like it was fucking came out of a Kinder egg or something, mate.
Th this is my conference background, so I got a few hustles, as you may know.
Yeah,
This is one of my side hustles. I work in the science space, so this is
yeah,
my trying to impress people at a conference kind of background.
yeah, yeah. Well, we'll talk about that as well, man.
Excellent.
But yeah, obviously you've recently dropped an album.
Indeed, yes. EP, 4 tracks, it's titled Hypothesize This. Out
Yes.
now on Spotify, Bandcamp. Go support the ting,
Yeah,
man.
man.
It's vibes.
Absolutely love it, mate. And every track's a little bit different as well, which I love
Thank you,
about
bro.
you. Like to mix it up, and you like to try the different flows, the different styles, and yeah, man, absolutely slammer of a first EP, man. And we got
Thank
more
you,
to come
man.
as well, I hear. Yeah.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, so this one was funny because like I actually had already made a bunch of tracks with different artists, collabs, some with producers, some with
Yeah.
other MCs, and none of them really felt right as the sort of first thing I was going to release.
Hmm.
So last year I dropped a single with my brother and yours, Johnny Dart, tunes
Yes.
called
Yes.
Foundations,
Yeah. Wicked tune, man.
which is out now. Thank you, bro. Thank you. But I also
But the
wanted to put
realist as
out
well,
like a
right?
by the realist,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. And we've
That's
got
it.
an
Yeah.
EP to coming together. That's
Oh,
actually part of
sick.
an EP.
Oh, sick.
So
Sick.
the other 3 tracks are going to come out for that at some point. But I feel like I needed like a piece of work that was authentic, sort of
Yeah.
channeling the styles that I'm trying to bring, which is like a cross of hip hop and grime,
Yeah.
conscious, but also a bit greasy, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it
You
came
do it
together,
well,
man,
man. You do
and
it well. You mix that up well.
thank you, bro. Thank you, thank you. And I was double gassed to get my wife on one of the tracks as well. She did the
Yeah.
vocals for the last track. So yeah,
Yeah,
bro, I'm really
yeah,
happy
yeah.
how it turned out. It came together really well.
Yeah, man. Defo. And then how long was that sort of process for you?
It
Was
was
it?
quick. It was
Yeah?
quick. So I started writing the EP in November last year. So right towards the tail end of last year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I actually one of the tracks I wrote for a different instrumental, and that's sort of where
Oh,
it kicked off. That's the track Flavors. I wrote it for a different instrumental, and I was like, hold on, actually, maybe this could be the start of the EP. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
the
yeah.
other 3 tracks sort of just came together quite neatly. I think
Yeah.
only one of the tracks had a verse that was already pre-written, but
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
else was original material that felt like it fitted at that time.
Yeah, yeah. Wicked.
So yeah, I started it in November, had it wrapped end of December, patented it in January, and it was recorded and done for release on my birthday in February 18th.
Wicked, man. Wicked. Good job. I
Big up,
thought
man. Thank you.
I thought you spent maybe longer and stuff on it because I thought obviously I've seen you out performing and stuff and I thought it was part of that process of you introducing
Mm,
people to some of your
mm.
stuff and then obviously you're going to release the EP. But yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope.
So whenever you see me perform, it's actually been other tracks that I've already got in the pipeline, if you see what I mean. It's
Ah,
never really
gotcha,
been these
gotcha.
tracks. So
Yeah, yeah,
um
yeah.
so yeah, I'm looking forward to basically now that the floodgates have opened, I've got the bug. So a lot of
That's it.
the stuff is written and ready to go. It's just I'm hitting studio every month, like trying to get 3+ tracks recorded.
Yeah.
Being able to work on a few singles as well, which is nice. Yeah, man, it's the floodgates have opened, as they say.
That's it, man. That's what sometimes happens though, isn't it? You get the hunger and then it just yeah, the seal is broken. You just can't stop
Yeah,
writing and just writing, and it
exactly.
becomes, it feels like it's really easy. You just get in that flow state naturally,
Absolutely.
and it doesn't come
Absolutely.
very often, man. So you got to ride that wave,
Absolutely.
mate. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. And I feel like the topics are like quite fresh right now and they're quite close to my heart. I guess I'm like doing a lot of introflexion, especially in this last month. It's been the month of Ramadan, so I
Yeah,
haven't really been touching pen, haven't really been spending too much time on social media posting, and I've just sort of been gathering, you know. And I think like after we get past these last couple days, I'm just gonna get the pen back out, and I feel like I'm gonna fire out a bunch of new stuff.
yeah,
So
defo. You're gonna
yeah,
probably
man.
write an album in an evening or something.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. But I'm also like, I'm conscious of like not trying to put out too much content. Like it's a weird
Yeah,
one because we obviously live in this world of like hyper consumerized music, like
defo.
it gets lost in the ether. You release it, you hype it for a few weeks, maybe a month, and then like people are already onto the next thing, right? So I want to get a balance between putting out like a good amount of music so people can be like, okay, yeah, this guy's not playing, he's an artist, but then
Yeah.
also like not rinsing it, not trying to oversaturate, and just finding the balance between making it authentic.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, to be honest, bro,
Mm.
because I think that's definitely a problem. Like they're like, okay, so there is a market for it because that's the type of people that I suppose are listening to music now. It's all
Yeah,
very quick, like it's rare that somebody now will sit down and listen to an album. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Or do you know what I mean? Because people are just so they just even when you look on some of like the Spotify plays and stuff, people are just looking
yeah.
at other stuff all the time and moving on to another track, like not
Word.
listening to the track all the way through and stuff because they're just not ready to give it that time. So that has definitely become a thing. So you can definitely, if you're putting out a lot of music, people kind of switch off because they're saying, oh, another track from him, rather than
Mm,
creating that tension and that excitement for another
mm,
project to come.
hmm
You give them a
hmm
little flavor and they're like, whoa, hit them like, I want some
Absolutely.
more of that.
What's
And then they're
coming?
anticipating
Exactly.
it, not just being slammed constantly with it. They're like, what? And when it comes, they'll be more appreciative of it. And therefore, they might be more willing to give it more of a listen. Do you know what I mean?
Listen,
That's,
exactly.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
listening
yeah.
to a podcast the other day. It's called Ambrosia for Heads, and they were talking about Black Thought, and it
Yeah.
was like whether he was the Go MC basically, and they were
Mm.
talking about his output, and they were basically saying like, you know, one of the things that they rated was he was putting out these albums, but they were like 30 minutes long,
Yeah.
digestible. And then you compare that with like Redman just put out Muddy Waters 2. Great album, don't get me wrong, and I'm glad that he's done it after so long, but there's like
Yeah.
it was an hour and a half, it was a piece of work, you know what I mean? And
But
like
the
I
first
had
one
to
had
listen to
quite
it
a
in
lot of
three
tracks on it,
goes.
man.
A
Do
lot
you
of
know what I
tracks
mean?
for sure, a lot of
Yeah.
tracks, yeah. And at the end of the day, it's Redman, man. I want to hear more Redman. But like you know what I mean? You see, it's hard to find the time to sit down and listen to an hour and a
Defo.
half straight album. So
Yeah, defo.
yeah, I'm gonna keep piecing them like three tracks at a time, maybe
Yeah.
drop a couple singles here and there. But by the end of this year, like there's gonna be no doubt that I'm gonna be on the map, sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, man. And are you sending your stuff out? Have you got like a promotion, I suppose, schedule or a plan when you sort of release tracks, or do you kind of just go with the flow? What's
Yeah,
your
I
what's
feel
your
like
thing
with
there?
this, I'm gonna be a bit more go with the flow, drop it on Bandcamp kind of thing. So I run a record label, and I've been running a record label for the last like 10 years now. It's a
Yeah.
multi-genre label, so we put out everything from, techno, bass, dubstep, D&B, and a bit of hip hop as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we're like what we call genre fluid. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it. It's genre
So
fluid.
genre fluid. So I dropped the debut on Eat My Beat. That's the name of the label,
Yeah.
and it was a blessing as well. I felt like a proud dad, like putting out my own music on my own label. It was vibes.
Oh, wicked.
So when I put it out that way, there's a little bit more of a promotional, I'd say, a plan behind it. We're sending out to people who are music distributors, landing in DJs' inboxes. But obviously, over the 10 years of doing releases and also running events, I've also built up a good back catalog of DJs
Yeah.
and promoters who I know are playing on radio, playing shows,
Yeah.
so I've got a long list of people I can send the music to anyway.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, so they know people are more likely to know Eat My Beat, but maybe less likely to know me as an artist. So it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
exploiting the network that I already have to spread the music. But then I guess I'm just gonna piece it, man. I feel like I probably need to try and make a couple music videos to try and promote the thing. But like, the reason that I do this isn't for, you know, I'm not really doing it for selling the music, if you see what I mean. I'm
Yeah,
doing it
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's the calling, I'm doing
yeah,
it because I'm like, I love to do it. And as long as I can keep that as my foundation, I don't really care too much about the plan. As soon as it stops to get fun, I
yeah,
think that's where I need to wind it back. If it starts being like work, I need to just wind it back a little bit. And
yeah,
that's the sort of energy I'm coming on because I feel like it's going to happen anyway. You know what I mean? Like it'll work itself out one way or another just from the process and the output
yeah.
and, getting all of the positive reinforcement, getting to do shows. I think the word is going to spread by itself. So yeah, man, I'm just piecing it and not thinking about it too much.
Yeah, just keeping it, I suppose, as organic as you can. I mean, it's good. It's always good to have a rough plan. Like I find when I release music now, sometimes I've got into. I haven't been releasing as much recently.
Mm,
I only released like one project last year, and I've got a few things dropping this year. But I tried
okay.
to, but the time to try to, I suppose spend a little bit of time thinking about how you're going to do it. Then
Mm,
obviously, executing that. A lot of time goes into that, man, and that takes
sure,
time away from me being able to be creative, and that's the part of it that
sure.
really kind of gets to me sometimes, where I need a team, really. If I'm
Yeah,
going to really be giving a shit about where my music and how far it's going and all that, you're
yeah.
going to need a team behind you who's like been able,
Word,
somebody who knows how to work the algorithms, work the market. I don't want to be spending time fucking on YouTube
word,
watching
word.
how to fucking sort out the
No.
algorithms or how Instagram. Do you know what I mean? I ain't got time for that
Yeah,
shit. But
yeah.
you're not
Word,
going to get
word,
the
word.
best out of it unless you do that, and therefore
100.
it's kind of almost like you're banging your head against the wall. Really,
Mm, mm-hmm,
you're putting as much effort as you can, but it's not
mm-hmm,
ever going to be enough. And so it's like, do
mm-hmm,
I even bother putting the effort in if at the end
mm.
of it, do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get what
yeah.
I'm saying, right?
I guess it comes back to like why you do it, right? As well, like
Yeah,
obviously, if you're spending all the time working on it, you do want your music to be heard, and that's what
exactly,
that's
exactly.
what
Yeah,
sort of catalyzed like me putting this first release out as well. I was just like, you know, I'm sitting on all this stuff. Like I'm either just gonna sit on it and no one's gonna hear it, or I'm like actually gonna try and interact with the community in a way which is trying to push it forward and also try and connect with it.
yeah,
I guess I'm lucky in that because I have like quite a few different hustles. And like for example, last year was it last year? Yeah, it would have been last year. I spent ages like I was producing a podcast, so
yeah,
I spent so much time editing video content for the algorithm, doing digital marketing courses, and like knowing what is interesting to people and like knowing how to understand like the first 2 3 seconds of a video. You've got to
yeah,
have a hook, the type of
yeah,
caption that you need, you know
yeah.
what I mean? So I've got some of the game, but it is like you said, it's time, right? And in a world where I've got a job, I do uni, I do my hustles, I got kid, family, you know what I mean? Like trying to find the time to just edit content to try and promote. It's a bit of a myth,
It's
isn't it?
it is hard, man, juggling all that as
Yeah.
well.
Team with
Yeah,
dreams.
I can I could definitely relate, man. Yeah, that's why you need a team behind you. And obviously
Yeah.
you said about your label. I wasn't aware that you had your label, man. So
Mm.
do you produce as well?
I don't. Yeah, it's funny. Like, if you looked on my desk, you'd be like, "This guy's obviously a producer." I've got like a nice Korg synthesizer over here. I've got like a beat pad. I've got a MIDI keyboard. What happened was this: is that I bought a load of equipment.
You're basically Rick Rubin, aren't you?
2020,
You
end
got
of
all the
2020,
equipment,
I
but
bought a load
don't
of
know how to
equipment. Yeah,
use it.
basically, I look like I pretend like I'm a producer, but actually, I have no idea what I'm doing.
You're a
And it's
guru,
funny,
bruv.
man.
You're a
The
guru.
amount of videos that I watch on like compression and like the number of plugins that I have is just totally mental. Claire's like, why are you buying all these plugins and they're not making any music? I'm just like, honestly, I feel like I need to find the time and space to start like really diving into the production. I
Yeah,
feel
you
like
should
I've
do
got
it,
the
man.
elements
Yeah, you should
because
do
I've
it.
been DJing for years, man. Like I've got the
Yeah,
ear,
that's it. That's
I,
it. And a
you
lot of it
know,
is that because you already
the
know
ear
how to
is
use
it.
certain
Yeah.
equipment and stuff, man. You
Hmm.
know
Hmm.
syncing, you know how beats should sound. And the thing is, you absorb so much information over time without even realizing you're
Absolutely.
absorbing it.
Yeah.
When you've been
Hmm.
listening to me, I've been listening to music since I was a kid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all the time. I had Walkman on all the time, drum and
Yeah.
bass, all different types of music. and you're listening to that all the time, you're not realizing you're absorbing that information, and some of it will
Word.
be beats, syncing, making sure tracks obviously have like sort of 8 bars, 16, all learning all that sort of stuff. You naturally learning it without even realizing you're learning it, and then later on when you
Mm.
come to production, you're like, fuck, like
I've already got it.
I know this shit. Like I
Yeah,
know how
yeah,
to,
yeah,
I know where the beat should be. I know how the hi hat should. Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? You've already got it programmed in your. Obviously, it takes
yeah.
a bit of time to smooth it out, make it not sound
Sure.
clangy and a little bit. But that doesn't take as long as if you were just starting from scratch. You know what I
It's
mean?
great. I
Without
think
having
like
to.
piecing it will be fine, but when it comes to like actually mixing it and trying to make it sound good, like I'd need to pass it over to someone who knows what they're doing. But at the same time, what I'd want to do is like also mix it myself
Yeah,
and
man.
then compare, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Definitely
where
give
you
it a
really
go.
where you get the skills. So
And it is.
do you produce? Are you
I
producing?
produce. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I started producing when I was younger, and then I
Mm,
stopped for years. Me and my mate,
mm,
we had he was living with me. He had like studio equipment and stuff, and so we basically
mm,
just made music and stuff. And I learned from him from hanging around with him. I went to college as well, did music technology when I was like in my like 19, 20.
dope.
Did a sort of national diploma. So I
Okay,
picked up
okay.
little things. I used to DJ when I was younger, and then gradually I got into the production. But when I was making music back then, it was drum and bass. I was always into hip hop and stuff, so I did try
Sure.
hip hop here and there. And then when I moved in with my mate, yeah, I made hip hop, he made drum and bass, and started to record stuff, and just started to learn from here and there, doing
Yeah.
things obviously. And then I didn't do anything for years, like obviously I would go around mates' houses, we'd make beats together, all that sort of stuff, but never had my own
Mm,
equipment. And then I
yeah.
bought an MPC from Nicky Blunt. I don't know if you know
Okay,
DJ
sure.
Nicky Blunt.
Big up Nicky Blunt. Yeah,
Big
absolutely.
up Nicky
Big
Blunt,
him up.
yeah. And then yeah, I just got on that, and I thought, yeah, because of the previous experience I'd had using a DAW, obviously DAW, whatever that might be, it was
Hmm.
obviously Cubase or
Hmm.
Fruity Loops or whatever. When I got onto the MPC, I thought, fucking hell, like I already know how to do some of this shit. And
Yeah.
so it just felt the transition was so, and within probably a few hours, I'd worked everything and pretty much the basics
Wow.
of what I needed to do.
Wow.
And then I went on YouTube, looked on how to mix on, mix and stuff like that. And I knew how to mix it before anyway from when I was at college
Sure.
and stuff, but to mix on the MPC, how to use some of the plugins and all the little
Mm-hmm.
software and things they had. And as I said, within spending maybe a week on it, I produced something I was relatively
Fair
okay
play.
with, you know what I mean?
YouTube
So
University, mate. YouTube
YouTube
University.
University, mate. It's
Yeah,
if
yeah,
we
yeah.
didn't have that, it would have reading a book that would have taken me ages. I might have not
Ages.
even got around to even doing it. Do you know what I mean? So that
I,
technology, big up yourselves up for that. We're
yeah,
happy with that. Just
yeah,
don't
yeah,
take
yeah,
over
for
the
sure,
world and
man.
start killing shit. Do you know what I mean?
For sure, man. For sure, for sure. I was
So
actually digging through my laptop and like when I first bought all the equipment, obviously I tried to make a bunch of beats and like I did find one that I was like, oh yeah, I made this. And it's a
yeah,
vibe still, and like I vocaled it as well. I set myself a challenge to see if I could make a track in 24 hours, and
yeah,
it's a vibe though. It's a vibe though. I was listening back and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to finish this one day because this is dope.
yeah, yeah. Just keep,
Just
try
gotta
it,
just
try
keep
it out,
it.
man.
Just gotta keep doing it, haven't you? Just
But
gotta
it
keep
is
doing it.
time, man. Like
Yeah.
I haven't made a beat for like a couple of months. Do you know what I mean? And
Mm,
I'll
mm,
get into rhythms with it, and I'll make a few beats, and then I won't make anything. So, yeah,
mm.
it's just like if you're not constantly doing it, then yeah, it's just hard, man. It's hard for
I th
timing sometimes, isn't it? Because you want to be in that zone for it, and if you've got
yeah,
kids, you're tired.
exactly.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to be in that certain vibe, and it's not always easy to find the time to get into the vibe,
Mm-hmm.
man.
This is why I feel like it's easier to like with my limited time just channel that energy into writing and
Yeah,
and trying to write tracks. Because like I always say like I write songs not 16s, but I need to write some 16s for the cipher because I always feel
yeah.
a little bit uncomfortable in the cipher, you know what I mean? So yeah, so that's the next challenge. But I feel like I'm quite comfortable with trying to write songs like thematically. Need to just work on writing like little writtens, like little 16s to just to flex, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And spend
yeah,
more time
yeah.
doing
Some
that.
braggadocious stuff rather than sort of subjects
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah, yeah, and I don't know, but like in my own way, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
like I still come with the conscious flow and the
yeah,
conscious
yeah, yeah,
energy. But you know, I feel like it's a weird one in Bristol as well. Like I'll turn up and I always feel a bit different in the cipher because people are just on some grease, like you
yeah,
know what I mean? Like in terms of the vocal content, they're all talking about like who's got the hardest lyrics and how I'm gonna slap your mum harder than this
Yeah, yeah,
next
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And you did say that I was pretty good at slapping people's nans, so I need to
Yeah,
lean
yeah,
into that a
exactly.
little
So
bit
I
more.
think if
Need
I
to
think
lean
you find
into it
it,
a little bit more.
yeah, definitely, man. Put that in the bar. Why not? Yeah, man. Yeah. So that sometimes that's quite hard though, man. When you get into a flow of actually writing subjects and writing songs that
Yeah.
have actually got a concept. And sometimes I find it hard to write a
Mm.
16 bar in a
Yeah.
cipher or something, man. It
Yeah.
doesn't come as easy to me than if I've got something that I've got a subject to think about or something that I'm
Absolutely.
I'm feeling, or do you know what I mean? Because it comes from a different place rather than, you know, finding so many different reasons why I'm a better
Yeah.
poet than you, and but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking kill you for it, mate. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna literally take your guts out, stab you because I'm a better poet than you.
Yeah. Yeah. Seems a bit extra, doesn't it?
It
Seems a bit
does.
extra.
I love it. I love it
But
though, man. I love
I
all
do
that
love it
shit.
though. Yeah, there's a
But
certain kind of energy of a. This
yeah,
is why I
there
love grime
is.
though. Like this is why I love grime because it's like that energy of just being like, I came in a spinner, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, and I'm gonna come with some mad dirty patterns and some just trying to catch some different kind of
defo,
energies
man.
and like
I love all that
channel
shit
it.
as well.
And
I do it. I do it fucking all the time. But as I said,
yeah,
it's a harder thing for me to, you
yeah,
know, get into, sort of get my head into
hmm
and stuff. I used to be much better at it, but as I've got older, my my way of writing and what I want to write
mm,
about has totally changed. Back in the days, I could
developed.
write all day long. I'm gonna
Yeah,
fucking do this and do that. I'd still spit some political stuff and still some
yeah,
conscious stuff, but
yeah,
it was more out of anger rather than out of look,
yeah,
this is happening, but you know,
yeah.
it's okay. Do you know what I mean? We can get
Word.
through it. Do you know what I mean? That sort of vibe has got more of a positive tone, whereas before, although there was slips of conscious stuff in there, it was always like,
Yeah.
"Rah, I'm gonna kill the fucking prime minister."
Fight the
Yeah,
power.
that sort of shit. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
I got you,
And a
bro. I got
totally
you.
different energy, man. But
I got you. I got you. It's the
sometimes I've got to
evolution,
channel
man.
that
It's the
younger
evolution.
K-Saulz, but it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard, man.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just
I
not
hear that,
that. I'm
man.
just not that pissed off
Just
anymore.
another
So it's
person.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. It's
Mhm.
hard to fucking pretend I'm really fucked off about having you got better poems than me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's so funny, man. It's so funny. But it's a good like I'm all about like, what I call practice is like trying to write with limitations. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you set yourself some creative like a creative goal, you put some boundaries on it, and then that's how you run a session. And then
yeah,
that's like what I sort of term as real practice. And like my
yeah,
favorite way to write is like if someone's already got a track and a theme and they send it to me and they're like, "Yo, do you want to pattern a 16 on this?" I'm like, "Yo, give me 20 minutes. It's
yeah,
done."
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I
That's it.
mean?
That's the
Like,
wheelhouse, isn't it? Makes it much
yeah,
easier, man.
yeah.
Definitely.
hmm
Yeah, there was a period actually where this was not so long ago. I suppose about 5, 6 years ago, where I just basically just was writing a 16s pretty much every day. And I was
Nice.
just testing I was getting I was going around my mate's house. I was asking him, look, just give me a subject, whatever, like say a
Mm.
word, and then I'll
Yeah.
create something out of it, a song out of it. Found different things like to do, like the fruit, like just trying to find different concepts, just to
Uh,
keep fucking myself interested, man. And I wrote shitloads. I've still got like a good, like I don't know, maybe 60, 70 like whole songs that have like never seen the light of day. Probably got
mad,
more than that as well, tucked away
mad.
from older stuff, just where I've just been writing constantly, but not the amount I was writing. There's no way I could get that amount out and out
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
recorded. It was just too much, and it's just still sitting there. And every now and again, I'll go and grab something. Like if I'm
Yeah.
not having any thing, I'll go back, pick something out. Oh, there's a verse there. I'll mix it, and it'll inspire me to fucking write some other
That's
shit.
dope,
So
bro.
yeah,
That's dope. That's a hack right there. You know what I mean? Like that's like what I would maybe try and encourage any aspiring MC to do is just like write, keep writing.
just
Don't
keep writing,
necessarily
man.
write with the intention of trying to release your
Exactly,
music,
exactly.
but
Some
just
of it, a
like
lot of it was
write.
shit, but then sometimes
Mm.
the shit can be something like you'll be you'll be missing a hook for of something,
Yeah.
and then you'll
hmm
fucking spot that bar that you
Yeah.
had, like, or a few bars that you'd written, or they were within another verse that was shit. And chuck that bit
Yeah.
out and create a hook out of it. So it's nothing's like wasted.
Nothing's
It can be
wasted.
it can
Yeah.
be fucking it can be used. It can spark another song. You might have a verse or an 8 bar
Mm.
that was nothing when you wrote it down. It was just you
Mm.
thinking, and then when a beat, you hear a beat, and then a vibe comes along, and you go back to
Yeah.
it, and you're like, fuck. Like, that
Here
really
it
fits
was.
that now. Do you know what I mean? It was waiting for the beat to come and this
Yeah,
moment to
yeah,
come. Do
yeah.
you know what I mean?
That's it, bro. That's it, bro. It's funny you said that as well because that's like my whole ethos to making music. It's like, does it fit the beat? It's not really about what do I want to do. That's my mentality anyway when I approach music. I hear
Yeah,
a beat and I'm like, right, what flow have I got to come with? How have I got to twist my vocal to make it fit for this beat rather than like, here's how I rap, here's how I rhyme, and I'm gonna make that work with this tune. And I
yeah,
think for me, that's what's like been able to allow me to push like some musical boundaries, or I can spit on hip hop, grime. I did an R&B tune the other day recently. I've done
yeah,
an
yeah.
Afrobeat track that's gonna come in a while, and for me, it doesn't matter the tempo or the style. As long as I can find some resonance, then I'm like, I will do what I need to do. I started doing singing lessons as well, as I was like, that's
Wicked.
the next level, man. I need to
Yeah.
unlock that for the hooks.
That's something I've
Yeah,
always wanted to do, bro. I kept saying to my missus, like, if I had a bit more time, I didn't have all
yeah,
the things I'm doing right now. I said, I'd love to take some swimming because you should, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you can only an hour. You probably spend
yeah,
an hour in the week on your fucking phone
yeah, for
altogether.
sure, for
Fuck
sure.
that. Like, go and, do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Go and get singing lessons, like, just
and
to add a little bit of something because I like doing
flavor, man.
melodic hooks and stuff, man. I really like that, and to be able to sing as well. When I do a melodic
Mm.
hook, I have to keep it kind of rappy because I know I'm so shit at
Yeah,
singing.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
can't
yeah,
really let
exactly.
go and express
Yeah.
how I want to express how it
Part of
sounds in
it's
my
in
head.
here though. Part of it is in here. But yeah, like a good part, a good portion of
It's
it
how
is
you
in here as
breathe
well.
in and how you're
Like
using your
knocking it.
diaphragm and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. You know,
Bro, like
I've
after
yeah, go on.
I was gonna say after seeing my brother Mr. G recently
Fucking
perform, and I'm
hell,
just
mate.
like,
Yeah,
oh my, the guy's an alien. And I'm just like, if that's how you can use your voice, still rap, be able to sing like that, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm doing something wrong because that's like you unlock a whole new market of
defo.
people who are
Yeah.
ready to digest your music. And then B, like you can just bring a whole different vibe to your energy, like a whole different vibe. Yeah, so that's the angle, man. It's like dexterity.
100%, bro, and big up to J Dart and Mr. G because
Big
man,
up
that
Jada,
that
Mr.
EP
G.
they've got coming out, we're
Bruh,
gonna get them on the
bruh,
show actually in the
bruh.
next few weeks once they drops. But every track's a banger. Like I've got those songs going around in my head. Their hooks are like stuck in
They're
my head.
so good. They're
They're
so
so
good.
good, bro. Do
I just
you know what
can't
I
even
mean?
deal with it, man. Killer
So
combo.
good. So
Like
big up to
honestly,
those two, man.
at the event the other day, big up Isle of Hip Hop, at the Isle of Hip Hop event the
Yes,
other day, I
yes.
was just watching these two, just like, oh my gosh. Do you know when you hear MCs that you rate and you're just like, I need to retire today? You know what I mean? That's Jade Art for me, man. I hear him rap and I'm like, I need to level up immediately. Like this very second. You know what I
That's
mean?
wicked,
Like,
man. That's where you want to always be as a rapper. Like
he
I tried,
is.
I said I was chatting to my little boy tonight because he's really into
Mm,
football and stuff, and he wants to be a
sure.
footballer or whatever. Um, but uh, but oh fuck, what we were saying, I forgot now.
Talking about like how your peers level you up and how the people around you can level you up. Maybe
Yeah,
it's something around
sorry,
that.
yes. So I was saying to him, um, you know, you want to be obviously playing with other players that are just as
Hmm.
which are better than you, and surround
Hmm.
yourself with people. But and
Hmm.
you never want to reach a place where you think that's it, you can't improve.
Mm.
It doesn't
Hmm.
matter how great you are. You think even your Messis and Ronaldos, you might think on the outside these guys are incredible, but in their
Mm.
minds they're like, I want to try something different. I want to improve myself. You never want to plateau as an
For
artist. You never
sure.
want to plateau really in anything where you think that's it. I can't become better or master this even more. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's why I love this. Do you know, I feel like this could be never ending because I feel there's
Yeah.
always something new I want to try,
Yeah.
something different vibe that I haven't tried before, different flows. There's just so much to it. And that's
Yeah.
why this craft, man, it's incredible. We love
It's the
it.
one, bro. It's the
We love
one.
it.
It's the one. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt, bro.
Yeah, man.
My heart, like especially like after doing a show, like I'm just gassed. Like I don't even know where to put the energy. You know what I mean? Like I come out and I'm
100%.
just like,
Can't go to sleep, mate. When I get home, I'm just
yeah,
like, I'm up for like hours after I perform, man. Like, do you know what I
go
mean?
for a
Just
walk.
tweaking in my bed, like I've done some fucking drugs or something. Do you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, man.
No doubt, bro.
Yeah, so obviously I wanted to talk to you about your name, Kemikali, right?
Yeah,
So I never knew, and this is me being stupid, that it was Chemic Ali
yeah,
because you're a chemist, right? You're a
yeah,
scientist.
yeah.
You want
Okay,
to
so
talk a
there's
little bit
layers
about
to it.
that?
Absolutely, yeah. So I studied chemistry with forensic science. That was
Yeah.
my undergraduate degree at Reading. I watched a show called Dexter.
Dexter, what the
It's about a dude. It's about
serial killer?
Dexter's Lab, obviously, but then Dexter the serial killer.
Serial
Yeah,
killer,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And I was just like, okay, it's a bit mad, obviously, because it's a serial killer, but he
It's a
does
sick,
forensic
sick
science.
series though, man.
And I was like, yo, forensic science is dope still. So I ended up like trying to pursue that as a career, and I did chemistry to sort of back it up.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I've worked in the chemical sciences for my whole working career, bro. That's my main thing, my day job. I work
Yeah.
as a consultant now, chemist, traveling the world,
Wicked.
work on behalf of like lawyers and ship owners and asset owners, and basically do like materials and chemistry forensic science.
Wicked.
So it's like instead of blood and guts, it's like uh, oil samples and
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's your
different
blood,
kind of things,
basically.
different kind of things. But you're doing it a forensic way, exactly
Yeah.
that kind of blood. Yeah, yeah, the blood of the people they're exploiting. But anyway, that's a whole other topic. So yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna
so we
get
got
too deep there.
yeah, right. So we got Kemikali from being a chemist.
Yeah,
Obviously, my name's Ali. Um, I'm from East Africa, Tanzania, Kenya,
yeah.
and chemicals in Swahili is kemikali, this the same way it's spelled.
Ah,
Yeah. And
dope.
then and then I also go by Kali Kush because,
Yeah,
gotta love the
dope.
thing.
Dope, man. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
wicked, man.
It's a I don't know, double, triple entendre.
Yeah. And you still find time for music as well. That's pretty incredible,
That's
man. So
it,
is that
bro.
is that is that your when you go traveling and stuff, obviously I guess you got time to write when the travels and stuff like
Absolutely.
that, use that time,
Absolutely.
right?
Long time on flights. I'm sitting around in hotels, and I've been blessed because, like, on one of my travels recently, I went to Guinea, West Africa, and I was out there for a job. What I was doing there is I was overseeing a bunch of ships taking fuel,
Yeah.
and it's quite an ordeal, ships taking fuel. So I was out there collecting samples of all these different operations. For whatever reason, it didn't go to plan. They ended up sending me back to shore. So I was in the hotel, and then I linked up with, on a random one, bro, the hotel receptionist spoke really good English,
Yeah.
and like was the only person I met who spoke good English out there. And he was a musician, right?
No way.
And we ended up
Universe
linking up.
works
He
in
was like,
magical
it was like
ways,
on a
didn't it?
random one. We hit it
Yeah.
off, and he was like, "Do you want to make a beat, bro? Do you want to make a song?" And he came to my room that night, and
What?
we made a track, bro. It's a hit, bro. We wrote it. I played him
What?
because I've always got beats, right? I played him this beat, and I was looking at. He was like, bro. He caught me off guard. He was like, I was like, "What do you want, like hip hop?" Like he was like, "You got any drill?" I was like, "What?" I was like, "Where am I?" It's like I'm in Guinea, West Africa. My brother's asking me if I got drill instrumentals. Anyway, I did have a couple like quite like flavorful drill instrumentals, and then
Yeah.
he was just coming with this like just everything I played him. He was singing, freestyling, rapping. I was like, this guy is on one, bro. And
Yeah.
then he spat something, and I was like, whatever you just said, that's it, because he can speak like French, English, Mandinka, Susu, Fulani, like six, seven
Wow.
languages.
Wow.
And
Wow.
then
Wow.
uh, and then something stuck, and I was like, I'm gonna write a verse for that. So I wrote a verse, and then we were just vibing. And then he's like, look,
That's
I gotta go.
wicked,
I was like, I
bro.
gotta go sleep. He's like, on a random one, he's like, bro, I know a studio.
Love that.
How about I come pick you up tomorrow and we go record it? And I was like, okay,
What?
I guess so. So, bro, I met this guy, and within 20 hours, mind you, half of that was sleeping. Within 20 hours, we had a mastered track done.
That's brilliant, mate.
And and since then, I've kept in contact with him. This guy's living in the village, bro. This guy's dirt poor, Like,
Yeah.
I bought him a phone so we could stay in touch. And I was speaking to him a minute ago, just before I got on the call to you. And we've done an EP now. We've got three track
Bro,
EP
that's
starting to
amazing.
room.
That
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that
yeah. So
is
it's
that
like
is
the
mate,
power of
that's
music
a
to connect
wicked
you.
that's a wicked, wicked story, bro. And
Yeah,
that's what I
man.
love. That's what you love about this what we do, isn't it? It can
Music,
bring
bro.
people to you, man. Honestly.
Mad bridges, bro. Mad bridges. And like, we have no business like being in each other's phone. Like this guy is living on the opposite side of the world, the
Yeah.
opposite side of the class ladder, like other than the fact that we are like spiritually very connected and like we hit it off and we obviously have made music together. Like we're
Sweet
living in
music,
different
baby.
worlds, bro. Yeah.
You literally made sweet
I
music
can't, bro. I
together.
can't wait for everyone to hear it because, like, it's them ones. Like, my mum heard the track and she was like, "When are you putting this out? Because this is
Yeah.
fire, bro." And my mum is not someone to. Those aren't kind of words that come out of my mum's mouth. You know what I mean? Like, she has
Wicked,
jokes,
man.
bro.
I'd love
So
to hear that,
yeah,
bro.
man.
Play that for
Thank
me
you.
next time, yeah, when we
I will, bro. I will. I will. Yeah, I'll play you the whole EP because it's dope. It's dope. I can't lie.
wicked,
Like,
man.
and like even before that, like I was like, I can't let this be my first project. It's another reason why I was like, I got to put the debut EP out first, and it's now spiraled. I'm gonna end up putting like 2, 3 out before I drop that one. But
So you're
yeah,
gonna have a busy year then, man, by the
yeah.
sounds
When
of
that
it.
hits, bro, when that hit, like if I promote it properly, and I market it properly, I've got the story, I've got all of the footage from when I was out there. Like
Yeah.
it's good, bro. It's
Yeah,
gonna be a good
man.
one.
Yeah. So with this mate, how did the conversation start then? How did you were just being
Bro,
friendly
so
anyway, and then
check this, yeah. So the receptionist on the night before, this woman who was working, she was like, I walked in and I said like, hello, I'm checking in, and she was just like, she couldn't speak very good English, and she said something in French, and I translated it, and what she said was like, I've got a friend for you, and I was like, I got no idea what you're talking about, and then like the next day, she'd also told him like, I've just got a friend. There's a guy here. You're gonna meet him. He's gonna be your mate. You know what I mean?
that's
And then we
incredible, man.
linked, and he was this like brethren, like working the hotel receptionist, like bald head, and then he used to have dreads, right? So I think she probably like was like, okay, I can see maybe there's gonna
He's
be
got
a
a bit of dread
connection
envy, is
or
he?
something. He used to have dreads, yeah, and then that's how we started the conversation, and then
Yeah.
I discovered he wanted to be a teacher, an English teacher, and like all of this stuff. And I was just like, look, bro, I'm in a position to try and help you do this. And then, yeah, just like I wanted to do something for the community out there because again, we're just living in different worlds, bro. So
Yeah.
that's how we
Yeah.
started the conversation and turned on to music. And then here we are, bro. We built like a little school out there, bro. It's like a one-room school, and he's teaching English to kids in the village daily. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
That's
dope, man.
wicked, man.
And like when you can take it beyond the music and you can like actually do something that is like, because don't get me wrong, I love that the music has impacts, but like, bro, teaching English to kids, you know what I mean? Like that
Yeah,
is the
man.
work, bro. That's like I can sleep at night being like, I did something good in the world. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
100%, man.
thing. hmm
Yeah, defo, bro. And do you what sort of countries do you go to when you travel then? Is
Could
it
be
all
anywhere.
over?
Could be
Yeah.
anywhere in the world,
Do you go
bro.
to the
Yeah,
US at all or?
I will be going to the US in May. I've got a court date. So because I do like investigations, but I also have to give evidence in court the same way that you would
Ah,
in a forensic capacity.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
stressful,
yeah.
bro. You go up there and you just basically have these lawyers trying to destroy you. That's basically what they're trying to make like destroy you so that your evidence is
Yeah,
to
yeah,
not the
yeah.
credibility of your evidence.
Exactly,
So I got to go through
exactly.
that, which is going to be techie. But yeah, I go out to New York. I love being in New York and being in America in general. It's a good place. Other than all the politics, like other than that, it's dope. But
Yeah.
yeah, last year I went to Egypt. I went to Guinea. I went to Djibouti in East Africa. Europe. I spent quite a bit of time in Europe. So I get about, man. I get about.
Do you go back home a lot at all or?
Home for me. My parents live in Qatar in the Middle East. And I
Ah, did
grew up
I?
there, yeah.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
moved
yeah.
out there as a kid. When I moved out there when I was 8.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And yeah, my parents never left. They still live there. My sister lives there. So
Oh,
we
okay.
go out there, we see them, and we've just started a project where we actually come from, East Africa,
Yeah.
in Tanzania. We just started a project. We're building. It's a bit of a mad one. I don't really know how we're doing this or why we're doing it. We're building a resort. We're building like a hotel resort in Zanzibar.
Yeah. Have you heard
I
of a
don't know
guy
how it's.
called John St. Julian who's got an
Oh,
orphanage and he
okay.
basically went out. He's an English guy who went out there and he followed. It's a bit of a mad story. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there's a guy called John St. Julian, and I don't know if
Mm.
you've heard of him, man. Have you heard of him at all?
No, I haven't. No.
So basically, this guy, I basically come across his YouTube videos, man, and then
Mm.
it kind of drew me in. Like he was talking about all like interpretations of the Bible and
Okay.
all this really sort of conscious stuff, and that's what drew me to him. But anyway, his story was he was like had a quite um high powered job, making loads of money, had all the cars, all that sort of stuff. Was a bit of a drug addict, did
Mm.
coke, sold drugs, all that sort of stuff. Was a bit of that,
Sure.
and then he started to feel like a little bit like thing with life, like he had everything that he thought,
Disenfranchised.
yeah, he thought that he would want, and he just like decided to basically sell everything. And he started to get like he was asking God or whatever, he was asking God for some help and some advice, like what to do next. Like he just felt so lost. And basically
Yeah.
he started to get these things, these signs from like numbers 1111, and it came up with the thing to go to thing for orphanage in Tanzania that was in it came up in
Deep.
his thing. Yeah. So he basically followed all these little signs and it took him to Tanzania. He ended up
Deep.
turning up there with like about, I don't know, quite a little bit of money in his pocket, not loads, but enough. He spent some and, to get out there and all this sort of stuff. About he said about 10 or 15 grand anyway in his bank. And he got
Sure.
there, and this guy was running an orphanage, but it was very in disarray and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And the guy basically just left it and said, "Look, I'll sell you this this place."
Rah.
And he ended up taking over it, and then he's created an orphanage that takes disabled children off the streets and people and
Oh my
kids that
days.
are, yeah. And he's also created a thing for dogs as well, takes stray dogs in,
Yeah.
and he's just created this whole like community now in Tanzania just off the back of following all these signs. And he talks about he is a religious guy,
Gonna have to
but he never
check
used
it,
to be.
bro.
Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, you
Yeah.
should go check it out, man. His story. If you watch his
Absolutely.
videos from the beginning, the stuff he
Mm.
talks about is all deep,
Mm.
and you can really relate to it, and it's all really sort of really sick stuff. But on top of that, he does this as well, which is just incredible, man. And like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
his story, if you
Yes, we
follow it,
super aligned, bro. Super
yeah.
aligned, and I'd love to know where in Tanzania. I'm gonna maybe try and find the guy because
I'll
yeah,
send you the link, man.
yeah,
I'd love to
please
go
do.
out there and do something. Do you know what I mean? Like he's opened up like
Yeah,
another school now, but I'll send you the link, man.
some
And
of the details.
yeah,
So
it's
so
incredible.
my parents, when I was growing up, like I was 13 or something, and my dad was just like engaged the community because we're Muslims, right? So we do a
Yeah,
lot of community work in general. And he had the idea that they were gonna do crowdfunding basically and open up an orphanage in Kenya.
yeah,
So no joke, they did the same thing, bro. They got the money from the
yeah.
community in Qatar. They gathered it all and they built an orphanage from
That's
scratch.
amazing,
They
bro.
adopted like 100 orphans, bring them
Yeah,
in, and I'm going out we're going to Zanzibar and to Kenya in August this
yeah,
year because I need to go get my ID done basically,
yeah,
so that we can like look after the orphanage like when my parents pass. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
me and
yeah,
my
yeah.
siblings. So like I was just
That's
like I
amazing,
feel like
man.
you spoke to my soul there a minute ago, bro.
Yeah,
I was just like I'm literally like engaged in
that's
the same
amazing, bro.
journey.
I'd love to
It's
do
amazing
something
when
like that.
people just get that sort of calling, bro, to like just
It's
like
mental, and the
so
life that he was
the
living, man. When you,
matting, bro,
yeah,
like
when you hear his story and stuff, like, and the thing is, like, some of the videos are quite close to when he first moved out
mm,
there, so you're seeing his journey and what
the
it is
transition.
now. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
incredible, man. Incredible.
Oh,
All his
bro, I'm
ups
gonna.
and downs. He caught some parasite and almost killed him and stuff. He lost.
Yeah.
He was good. He was so worried about. He got married. His wife was the person he met her when she came out there to help in the orphanage, and they fell in love and
Sure.
whatever. He
Yeah.
gets loads of people going out there and helping out and
Mad.
stuff. So, um, but yeah, and just watching his story, man, it's heartwarming, man. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
brings
Powerful stuff, man.
yeah, it gives you goosebumps, man.
Gives
Honestly, when you're
gives you
fucking
perspective as well,
yeah,
bro. It
it
gives you
does.
some real perspective. Like this is the thing. Like since I've been speaking to my brother, Mr. Congo and Getty, I'm like, you you just see how actually most people are living. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And like how the opportunities that most people have, and like I've just been spending the last month like deep thinking about this stuff. You know what I mean? And it's
mm,
just like taking those seconds to remember to be grateful for all of the stuff that we have, man. It's a mad thing that
100%.
you can just go turn on the tap and water comes out of it. It's
Exactly.
a
People
mad thing.
don't
You know what I mean?
realize it, man. Like the fact we've
Most
got
people.
electricity, the fact that,
Yeah.
you know, you got you never have to worry about having food in your belly. Do you know what I mean? The
Yeah.
fact that,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, you can, there's building regulations in this country. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you ain't got fucking that stuff, you need somewhere
God.
to live. You ain't thinking
Oh,
about fucking building regulations and where,
trust
do you know,
me.
it's just a different world, man. Absolutely
Yeah.
different. Like even me
Yeah.
just going to Thailand, like I went to some of the
Mm,
real quite poor areas of Thailand and
mm,
stuff, and the way you see people living, like you got like
mm.
10 people living in one room and stuff. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
a couple
Common.
of the girls and stuff I met out there,
Yeah.
like I'd go back to there, and that's why they'd want to sleep somewhere else because
Yeah.
when what they've got to go back to is they're sharing. Do you
Uh,
know what I mean? It's just like, and you come back and you think, man, like
it's a
I'm
mad
moaning
thing.
about like this and that, and it's just, yeah,
It's different struggles. Yeah, everything's
yeah.
relative though, you know what I mean? Like
And the thing
everything,
is, they're
it's not like
happier
your
than
struggle
people out
isn't,
here.
they
It's
are
mental.
happier. Yeah,
It's
they are
mental.
happier
They've
for
got
sure.
less and they're happier. They're more buzzed
Yeah.
and we've got
And
everything here and we fucking moan about it. Do you know what I mean?
shows you
It's
what the
crazy.
value of life is, right? You know,
Yeah,
what is
exactly.
valuable in life. And, you know, we're all like obsessed with our phones and like we're all plugged into the system, you know what I mean? Like it's exhausting. And for different reasons, it drains your dopamine. So I'm not surprised that they're happier because they don't have, like, they got hardship and, you know, they're struggling to eat, but they're not like, they're spending real quality time with the people that they love and care about. Bro, my
Exactly.
favorite is
Exactly.
like when you're in India and you like see like a whole family on a motorbike. You know
Yeah,
what I
that's what
mean?
it's
There's
like
like
in
six
Thailand
people
as well.
around there.
Yeah.
It's like the two kids on the front of the
It's
handlebars, and I'm
mental,
just
bro.
like, you're
How long would
defying
that last?
gravity. Just like,
How long would that last here, mate? Do you know what I mean? You'd be pulled over like 20 times.
imagine, imagine.
It's mad.
Oh,
It makes
bro,
me
cracks me
wince.
up
Like
still.
you watch them
Yeah,
going by, and I'm just like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I don't even want to look.
But the thing is like that's just how they're riding every day. You know what I mean? That's just
Exactly.
like that's another Wednesday.
And
You got the whole family on the motorbike.
they give their life over to another power, another source,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
that's what I feel. They're much like people are much more closer to God when you haven't got all the
Spiritual, yeah,
noise, man.
absolutely.
The
You
noise is
have to be
that's
almost,
the
bro.
whole reason why this environment's been created,
Yeah,
because this
yeah,
environment keeps you distracted and it doesn't allow
yeah,
you to go
absolutely.
within and to find
Words.
source. That's what this whole thing is built. This whole
Yeah,
matrix we're living in, that the
yeah, yeah,
people
yeah,
controlling whoever they may be.
yeah,
I don't, you know,
yeah.
I'm not gonna. I don't know. Nobody's gonna know really.
No
There's
one's
all
gonna know really.
speculations. There's all theories, but nobody really knows. But we know
Yeah, of course
something's
not.
going on, don't we? The way that this world's designed, it's not designed for growth and for the spiritual body, for the being to be enlightened.
Mm,
It doesn't allow that, and we've lost touch with nature. We've lost touch of
mm, mm,
ourselves, and you know, the human this vessel has got
mm.
abilities that we are not even capable of even
Yeah,
knowing.
word
Telepathy,
100.
all, you know, stuff that,
100, bro.
you know, and I think even language was in a way maybe created to keep us away from being able to communicate through telepathic
That's
means and
deep. That's
other
deep.
of other
That's
means,
deep.
because it doesn't allow you to be able to absorb that. Because I noticed in my children when they were really young, they would be able to read mine and my missus'
Yeah,
minds like
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
many times. It was so often me and my missus just looked at each other
yeah,
like I'd be thinking about doing the clothes and I'm changing my boy, like, do you know what I mean? Like putting the clothes in the wash, and my boy just looks up and goes, "Washing machine." Like,
yeah, yeah,
do
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm like,
There's definitely an astral projection thing that you can grasp
100%.
communication
And
from
if you're
space.
getting that on a small scale,
Yeah,
because they're so pure, they haven't yet been totally,
exposed.
yeah, exposed to all the
Mm,
distractions. They can still tap
mm,
into it without even
mm,
realizing they're tapping into it. And even us, we
mm.
can tap into it when we don't
Yeah,
realize.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
when you're thinking of somebody and suddenly they phone you,
For sure, bro.
that is a connection that's happening. Do you know what I mean? That's some sort of, you know, even mothers, like my mum, she sensed lots of times when something's happened to me or my brother, and we could be on the other side of the world or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? She sensed it, and there's that
it's
connection that
plugged in.
there's things that we don't know about and we're not allowed to know about, because they will make us feel more than what we've been told that we are, which is this
Yeah,
little
yeah,
person. You know, you
yeah,
can't
yeah,
really
yeah.
do anything. You know, you have to let us look after you. You need to be mothered by the government, and you can't, you know, you can't keep yourself safe. You
Yeah,
make you
yeah,
feel like you need to be mothered, but really this
yeah,
being is more powerful than fucking what
yeah.
they want you to think. Do you know what I mean? That's what I feel anyway.
I'm with you, bro. I feel like individualism is the greatest hack that that like I guess, authoritarian structures have designed to make
Mm,
you become an individual rather than a collective consciousness. And there's this
definitely.
idea called morphic resonance. I don't know if you've heard of
Yes,
it.
yes, I have heard
You've
of
heard
it. Yeah,
of it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and that's sort of what it feels like you were speaking about, where like
yeah,
the universe has this like conscious intelligence,
definitely.
and we can all tap into it,
Yeah,
and it's like why your dog knows you're coming home. You
yeah,
know what I mean? When you're in the car, like 100 meters away, and okay, maybe a part of that is smell, but like when there's aspects where you're like you couldn't explain this by a sense of smell. You
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's that
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
stuff, and you're just like, how is that happening? You know what I mean? Or like the examples that you gave about your kid being able
yeah.
to sense things that you're just like doesn't and I think we're just very like I'm the
We're
kind of
blasé
person that's
about it,
like,
aren't we? We're like, oh, that
yeah,
was
that's it. We
interesting.
just wave it
And when a
off, bro. We
coincidence
just
happens,
wave
it's
it
like,
off.
oh yeah, that. Whoa, what
It's
happened
not
there?
coincidence,
Whoops.
man. It's
Yeah,
not it's not coincidence. For sure
exactly.
not, bro. For sure. I ain't buying it. Like I'm more like I feel like the coincidence is like from a probabilities point of view is a harder argument to sell than
Exactly.
like something spooky is going on or like something different. Like I'm not even gonna call it spooky. It's just like it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like that's more natural than trying to explain it in this sort of reductive, materialistic kind of way.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
We haven't been designed to be able to think that way. We've been designed
Hmm.
to think
Hmm.
on the 3D scale
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
nothing
Hmm.
a little all
Hmm.
that sort of seen as like, wishy-washy woo-woo stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you've been watching too many like sci-fis or too many, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
fantasy stuff. It's like, nah,
Do you know
this
what's ironic about it all though, bro? It's just like as soon as you start digging into stuff like quantum mechanics, which I love because I'm like a scientist and I like
yeah,
dig into the science and like that stuff is like it's closer to God than it is to science. You know what
exactly,
I mean? Like,
exactly.
and I'm just
And
like
I think there was a
the
time where there were
science is reinforcing it, bro.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
But
And I think
like
there
they're
was a
still
time
like,
where
no.
where the two weren't separated.
Yeah,
Science and
exactly. Well,
religion.
all the people that founded quantum mechanics were all people of God. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
And I think in a way,
it's funny,
science is
man.
trying to explain God. That's what it's always been trying. It's
Yeah,
trying to explain what this is, what we're experiencing. It's trying to find words to explain to everybody else that this is what God is.
but
And
the thing is, it's like it's not set up for that though,
it's
because it literally relies on objectivity. Like the
exactly.
scientific method is based on you being able to measure something in a materialistic realm and providing evidence and like having a framework for that. But you can't use science to explain morality. You can't use
Exactly.
science to explain conscience. It's just not going to work for you. You can't even ask the questions. You know what I
The thing
mean?
is, like
So
science only explains the how something happens.
yeah,
It doesn't
how?
explain the
Yeah,
why. It doesn't
why?
explain why your body just naturally, all those little organisms are inside your body,
Mm,
all working
mm-hmm,
together, your cells,
mm.
why they're doing that. Like, yeah, we
Yeah,
know how they're doing it, but why the fuck are they doing it?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
why is there these particles when something it looks like it's actually a solid, but within that, if you go down to its the microcosm, it's moving, its atoms moving.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
do you know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, yes, we know that's what it's doing, but why the
Yeah.
fuck is it
How?
doing that?
We're talking about like my missus growing a baby. We're like, I was talking to my missus the other day, and she was like, "Oh yeah, grow a baby," and I was like, "Do it again then." I was like, "Go on, grow a baby. I dare you." I'm like, "That's not you growing that baby." You
Exactly.
know what I
There's
mean?
a
And then
consciousness that's
suddenly it's
allowing all
got a
that shit happen.
consciousness in it.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
it was cells, and then it's got a defined consciousness. Nah, man, come on,
It's a
bro.
madness when you delve into that.
If that by itself is not saying that something different is happening, you're just looking in the wrong places.
100%, man. Yeah, we could go deep on
Bro,
this
I
sort
could
of
get
stuff,
deep.
man. I love it though, man, because you come from a
Get deep.
scientific perspective as
Yeah,
well. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Somebody must obviously be naturally interested in that sort of stuff. And
yeah. Now,
I'm massively. I could talk about that stuff all
mm,
day long, man. You know what I mean?
yeah, people think I'm an enigma because I'm like deep practicing scientist, but I'm like a deeper practicing Muslim. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like my Islamic identity is much stronger than my identity as a scientist, but I also strongly believe in science. I believe in science, not scientism. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
I
yeah,
believe
yeah.
that they're doing different things and people just don't understand that. So,
Yeah.
but
And I
yeah,
don't
man,
think
we'll figure it out.
I'm quite
We'll figure
happy
it out
not
one day.
understanding it as well. I
Yeah.
think there's just some
Mhm.
things that our words cannot even
Mhm. Yeah.
explain, you know.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
You know, we're not permitted in this
Mm,
realm to be able to do it. We
hmm
might be able to get to a point where we can, but
Yeah.
I just think, as I said, there's just so much distraction, and
Yeah.
there's people doing their little things in the background. It's
Word,
hard
bro.
for us to really be able to get a grip on it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I'm with you. 100%.
And we're all kind of playing our little part as well. That's what I feel, you know. I think every person who gets given a gift or whatever that might be, that your gift you can use to better
Mm,
and bring about a better place. That's like people don't realize those gifts that you're given. This is what I feel
mm.
anyway. I don't know whether this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
true, but I feel that any gift that you're given or talent,
hmm
you're given that to be able to. Some people abuse it and don't maybe reach the potential of
mm,
what that gift can give them. But I
mm.
think alternative, at the end of it, the gift is something that you can use to better the world or better
Yeah.
the people around you. You know what I mean? That's what I
Exactly.
feel. Like even with
And it doesn't
MCing
matter
and
what it
stuff.
is.
Yeah, even
It
with
doesn't. Yeah. That's
MCing,
what. Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
even with
Yeah. Yeah.
MCing, I thought, yeah, this is my creative outlet to be able to
hmm
connect with people, to be able to bring
hmm
about even a small change in somebody or inspire somebody to do
hmm
something or create
hmm
a feeling and emotion that's going to make them
mm
either make a better decision in life and make themselves a better person,
mm.
or that could then resonate and they could help somebody else. They might not even be helping themselves
Sure.
directly. Do you know what I mean? That's like the deep level of what I
Yeah.
feel why I
Yeah.
carry on doing it. You know, like I've tried to give up doing it so many times, and I say, okay,
Yeah.
maybe I'm obsessed and I'm addicted,
Yeah.
or I don't know, whatever it might be. Maybe I've got an
Yeah.
addictive personality, but I think the core root of it is because it's so
hmm
embedded in your soul that this
Mm.
creative outlet that you need to do is the way that you're going to be able to be you, the best version why you came to this
Mm.
planet. And if you don't pursue it, that's why you always get this niggling feeling that you need to be doing this whatever this thing
Absolutely.
is, or it could be many
Absolutely.
things, but it still encapsulate one creative outlet. And I think if you pursue that and you do it in the right way with the right step in the right heart in the terms of
hmm
what you're doing for the
Mm.
right reasons,
Mm.
and I think the universe or the source or whatever it is will bring
hmm
things about to make that thing happen for you,
For sure,
because it
bro.
knows that this is your path, this is where you need to be, and so
Mm.
it will try to
hmm
create. And some people don't see the opportunities, or they might
hmm
use it in a negative way to better
Mm.
themselves or to make their ego fucking boost their ego. But I think if you
Mm.
stay to the core to why you're doing it, and it's to help in some way another person to
Yeah.
bring about some sort of better change on this planet, which is what's needed. I think people don't realize that gift is their key, man. That's what I feel anyway. I know that's well deep,
Powerful,
but
bro. It's powerful, bro. Like, and we say that Allah is the creator. So it's a natural inclination to want to create, you know what I
mm,
mean? Like to emulate that same thing that you are built on and that has built you. You're like, I think creativity is like one of the most uh like powerful inclinations that we have as human beings, and it, like you said, it shows up in many different ways. Like
mm,
for one person it's being a lyricist, for one person it's like, building in business, whatever it is. Like it takes many forms, but
mm,
it's that idea of like giving back and spreading round and sharing space. And you can spit a lyric and lift up a whole room, you know what I mean,
mm.
in like 8 words, which is just crazy. You know what I mean? And then like someone in the crowd's like, "Wow, I could do this," and then they spend their life like becoming an artist because they saw one person do it. You know what I mean? So it's
Exactly
just
that, man.
like pathways and pathways flying off each other constantly, bro. It's
That's it.
beautiful.
It is beautiful, man. And like,
Mm,
I think like in this world, really, there's only kind of 4 or 5 groups of people
mm,
that's
okay.
required to make this world operate in the best way, like in it to reach its optimum sort of capacity and how everybody could
Mm,
be thriving. I think you've got like the caregivers, the people who
mm,
give to want to help people. You've got the
mm,
builders, the farmers, the people who the
mm,
agricultural side of things, and you've got the spiritual people who
mm,
can be also the healers as well. And then
mm,
you've got the creatives who then can bring about sort of feelings of emotion and things like that to try to
mm.
help people. And I think you've got all these other jobs and stuff, but really the key things are those things that you need
Those
to make.
groups.
Do you know what I
That's
mean?
deep, bro. That's good. I'd maybe add to that like and maybe it's part of it already, but it's like the wisdom. You know what I mean? Like that's carried throughout the ages, like in
Yeah.
the elders. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think
deep,
all the
bro.
other all
That's
the
a
other stuff that's been created is just extras that distract us
yeah.
from our core thing what we need to do, because as I
mm,
said, we've got the technology, we've got the
mm,
ability, we've got the minds to be thriving, and yet we're not. And
mm,
that's always
mm,
surprises me when people think, yeah, okay, it could be just human error. And this is kind
mm,
of the thing that always has turned me off about not all religions, but just certainly the Christian
mm,
religions, because it's always this ideology that you're born a sinner, you're already
mm,
born
mm,
broken,
mm, mm, mm,
and to create that negativity in you
mm,
where you have to feel like somebody else has to come and save you.
mm.
It
Steep.
although I know some of it, you do need the source's help. I know that,
Uh-huh,
right?
uh-huh, uh-huh,
But I think to have that savior thing where
uh-huh.
you don't have to do any work yourself. As
Yeah,
long
yeah,
as
yeah.
as long as you know proclaim that Jesus was your savior or whatnot, then and you follow these things and whatnot. But some of it, as I said, I think some of it's been doctored and it's been tainted. I think the core thing, roots of the scriptures are there,
Mm, mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
uh, and I think they haven't just been there; they've been throughout all different
mm, mm-hmm,
times and different um,
mm,
messengers. The
mm-hmm,
core
mm-hmm.
message has always been there throughout
It's
all
been
the
the same,
religions,
yeah,
just told by different interpretations or different
for sure, bro.
perspectives. But it's always the
Yeah,
core of it. But I think a lot of it gets tainted and gets
absolutely.
mixed up. Do
People,
you know what I
bro.
mean?
People in power.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Power
That's
corrupts
literally
all,
it.
man.
People in power. People in power. No disrespect to Christians at all. Like, I'm a theologian, but like somewhere Jesus is like, yo, why is everyone putting this stuff on me, bro? Like,
Yeah, that's it,
it's
man.
just like I didn't ask for this.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I
Yeah.
I, I respect everybody's opinions and their
For sure.
religious beliefs and so forth. But
Mm,
yeah, I just that part of it always. That's why I've never really followed
mhm,
any sort of faith. But I'm
mhm.
a massively spiritual person. I do
Yeah, yeah,
believe,
yeah.
and I think at the core of it, if we all came together, actually, all these different religions, I think at the core of it, we all want the same
There'd be
thing, and it's
harmony. Yeah.
yeah, it's all the same
Mm-hmm,
thing. But
mm-hmm,
that people get so caught up about you're wrong, I'm right. Do you know what I mean? And it just
mm-hmm,
loses its
mm-hmm.
essence. And the source is probably sitting up there thinking, God, you guys just sort it out. It's all the
There's
same stuff, man. Just get on with it. Come
there's
together. Do you know what I mean? It's like, come on. Like, what you doing?
there's
Do you know what I
literally
mean?
an ayah in the Quran which is like God created the humanity, the people. I'm sort of paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Split you into tribes and groups, and one day you'll all be collected back and you'll
Yeah.
be told about what you used to differ in. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So in my
It will
mind,
be.
it's all gonna come to light one day, bro. It's all gonna come to light. And then we're all gonna be like, dope, we're all saying the same thing.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
on the subject of that, I mean, obviously, I'm not familiar with the Quran, although my
Mm-hmm,
family are from Iran, and obviously,
mm-hmm,
it's a Muslim country and everything.
mm-hmm,
But yeah, my nan she prayed every day until
mm-hmm,
until she was too ill to do it, basically, bless her.
mm-hmm.
And I remember growing up and
Alhamdulillah.
thinking, like, what is she doing? Because I didn't really
Mm,
totally understand it.
mm-hmm.
She get her robe on, she get her little
Yeah.
rock thing. It was, I don't even know what it was. This
Yeah,
rock.
that's the Shia way to pray. There's like a
Yeah,
rock.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
rock,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you pray
So
you pray on it.
she did that every day, man.
Mm.
But yeah, the question I wanted to ask you is, do they in the Quran, do they foresee the end of times and what kind of it says? Did they have a Revelations kind of um chapter? I don't know how it's, as I said, how
Yeah,
it's.
so the Quran is very, very clear about everything. You know what I
Mm,
mean? I think this is why it's such a powerful religion. It's like very clearly distinguishes there's a creator and a creation. They're separate. You know what I mean? They're together and they're separate. Obviously, they're
yeah,
imbued with each other. Okay, so then you're created, your purpose. What's your purpose? Your purpose is to worship. Worship takes many forms: prayer, charity, connection, love, like all of the compassion, the things that we do
mm,
to build each other up as a community is worship just as much as putting your head down to the floor and saying Alhamdulillah. Okay,
yeah,
so your purpose to worship. After you worship, you die. You know what I mean? After you die, you're resurrected. And when you're resurrected, you're going to be told about everything that you did, you know?
yeah,
And you are going to hold yourself for account. Personally, you are going to look at what you did and take account of it yourself.
yeah,
Your body's going to testify to everything you did, and your God is going to judge you based on what you
mm,
did. But, we believe as Muslims that Allah is the most merciful before everything else. Before everything else, you know. And I think like there's this like I guess a narrative of like, which is why people I think shy away from religions, even Islam and but like particularly Christianity of like a
Mm.
vengeful God or whatever. But like the first thing God prescribed on themselves is mercy,
Yeah,
and that's like what gives me power in this religion. It's like, you know, even in Ramadan, you know what I mean? Like there's one day of the year, one day of the year in Ramadan. It's called Laylatul Qadr. It's like within the last 10 nights of Ramadan, which is like we're in it now. These are
yeah,
like the most important 10 days of the whole year in terms of worship. And it's like if you catch this night, it's like it's like 85 years of worship if you just do it on
yeah.
this one night. You know what I mean? So it's
Get
like made too
get your
it's like it's
worships in,
made too
innit? And
easy,
then
bro.
just don't not do it for.
But well, that's what we're people are. That's what we're like, though, isn't it? Like that's what we're like as people,
Tally
and
him up, man. Tally him up.
it's peak. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's the impulse. That's where it makes people go. So it's like remembering that, like, um, you know, God is merciful, but also God knows your intention. You
Yeah,
know, if that's what your intention is, you probably haven't got the right intention.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So yeah, it's definitely helped me with a lot of aspects of my life, and it's where I find my center, and I love it because it's an incredibly tolerant religion, despite what people think. Like, the more I go into it, the more I'm like, wow, this is literally encouraging me to be as tolerant as possible and encouraging and to connect with as many different groups as people as possible. I might
yeah,
have my views on something, but it's not for me to put my views on someone else because
yeah, yeah,
I don't know what their situation is
yeah,
ultimately.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, that's
yeah.
it, man.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because with the sort of as I said, with the sort of ending of, I suppose there are no ending. How is it sort of divided up? Is it divided up into stories or chapters? What is it? Because obviously with the Bible, it's different books also
Yes.
collated together, obviously, isn't it? But with the Quran, is it just passages or what is it? How is it?
Yeah, so it's divided up into what you call a surah, which is like
Yeah,
a chapter, basically. The Quran came as a recitation, so the basically it came over 23 years. The Prophet would recite it in almost like a state of it almost looked like he was having an epileptic fit,
France.
you know. He'd go into a trance and then just start spouting mad poetry, like because that's what it is. It's rhythmic, it rhymes, it flows. There's double entendres, but
Yeah,
it's content, bro. It's deep stuff. You know what I mean? And it was delivered for a lot of it in response to like what was going on at the time.
yeah,
So it's filled with the stories of the prophets. It's filled with situations that were happening to the prophet and the people around the prophet at that time. There's a lot of metaphors to make you think about, just to reflect on life, you know,
yeah,
things about agriculture and like how our hearts are like the soil, you know what I mean? Where we water the soil and goodness grows out of it. So it's like,
yeah,
what do you feed your heart so the goodness grows out of your heart? It's all this kind of stuff to like just make you contemplate your purpose and to reflect back. So split into these surah, there's 30 and then it's further divided into books. All
yeah,
right, so there's 30 books, and it's in a particular order. And there's 114 surah or chapters.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And how many
And
times have you read it, man?
I've
Is it
read it like
pretty?
12, 13 times,
And I
man,
bet you
maybe.
discover different things all the time,
Bro,
right?
every time, and I don't know anything about this book. I've read it so
Yeah,
many times, I don't know anything about it. I've read it in
yeah,
Arabic a bunch of times, I've read it English a bunch of times, and the more that you like, you have to have read so much around the topic, the
yeah,
history, the life of the Prophet, what was going on at the time, the context that it came into, before you can even begin to understand, getting close to understanding this book. So,
yeah,
you know, I'm gonna read it. I'm like committed to wanting to learn Arabic so I can understand
yeah,
it in its original form
yeah,
because the
yeah, yeah,
translation just doesn't do it justice, you know.
yeah, yeah. I totally get
Things
that,
get
man.
lost in translation.
100%. It doesn't have the same essence. Like my mum gave
Doesn't
me a
have the same
book on. Have you
essence.
heard of Hafez and Rumi? They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. I was
yeah,
gonna give you a Rumi quote earlier actually when we were
yeah.
talking
So my
about
mum gave me a
source.
book of it, but she
Mm,
said to me like this is great. Obviously, enjoy you will enjoy it, but it just you won't get the same because
mm-hmm.
the Farsi language is very poetic.
Yeah.
It's
Mm,
very. I don't know if
inspired.
you've obviously know anybody
It's
who's
similar to
Iranian. Yeah, yeah,
Arabic. It's similar
yeah.
to
It's
Arabic.
got
Even
like
in
a
the script,
flow and it's got
the script is the same letters almost
yeah, yeah.
as the Arabic
That's it,
poem.
man. That's it. It's got that influence from it. But yeah, the way they talk and stuff. Like, although I speak Farsi, if
Mm.
I'm sort of around people who or listen to Iranian radio or whatever, I won't understand
Mm.
some of the language because it's so flowery and so
Sure.
they use loads of different, like when we speak to each other, we're speaking in what would be considered a slang
Yeah.
in Iran, but
No
we're
doubt.
speaking sort of normally, really.
Yeah.
But where
Yeah.
they speak, their language when we're using loads of big words and stuff is their normal way of speaking. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
And
Okay.
so
Deep.
we're yeah,
Deep.
so yeah. Anyway, so some of the stuff like although it was really good, I really enjoyed
Mm.
it. It just my mum said just doesn't have that same hit. It doesn't give you
Yeah.
that that same vibe. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So
Mhm.
so I suppose
There's
some of it would
definitely
be the
something to
same.
take from it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Even with the Bible, man, I've read the Bible a couple of times. I just had to read
Yeah.
it because obviously with,
Yeah.
I didn't want to just because I was before I even read it, I always used to have arguments with Christians and stuff, and we
Yeah.
used to always have this battle. Like I'd ask them questions like things that didn't make sense to me, and I want
Mm.
you to explain
Mm.
it to me.
Mm.
Like like if you don't profess that Jesus Christ is your savior, then
Mhm.
you wouldn't go
Mhm.
to heaven. Is that what? Because
Mm.
that's what they say, right? You need to be.
Yeah.
And I said, what about
You
if
won't
you
find that
if
anywhere in the Bible, bro.
huh?
You won't
What's
find
that?
that anywhere in the. You won't find those words anywhere in the Bible.
Yeah. Oh, you won't know.
No, no, absolutely not, man.
Yeah, but
No,
that do you know
absolutely
what I
not.
mean? Huh?
It's a deep one, man. It's a deep one, and Christianity is complicated, I think. Like, and I want to study more into the Bible as
But
well
that's the
because,
thing. This is what I'm saying. It's interpreted totally.
yeah, it's interpreted.
Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you have to give
Mm.
yourself. You have to follow all this and do all that. But if you,
Mm.
in terms of some of the stuff, like
Mm.
if you don't do it, that's it. You're going to go to hell.
Yeah, yeah.
But what if you're living that, but you're not somebody who's a Christian? Then
Hmm.
you're telling
Hmm.
me
Hmm.
that person who's doing all this good and all this stuff, then they're not gonna be saved. They're not gonna go to heaven. Do you know? Does
Allah,
that make sense?
yeah, for sure. I mean, and from my perspective, I'm like, Allah says there's not an atom's weight of goodness that doesn't go, that isn't recorded for you.
Yeah,
And then my rebuttal to all of these people who say things like this is just like, prove it. How
yeah,
do you know? Prove it.
yeah.
Because you don't know. You're just
Mm,
speculating
yeah,
based on
yeah, yeah.
ideas that you have, which, you know, and then if you start trying to dig it into it, they probably don't know the book that they're quoting and reciting and trying to
Exactly,
bring to
exactly.
your
And so many
perspective
allegories and stuff.
anyway,
Even I didn't
bro.
understand some of it. You have to
It
be
goes over your
reading it
head.
in a diff because the what language it's written and stuff. Some of
Mhm.
it's not supposed to be taken literal. Like
Yeah,
it's
for
some of
sure,
it's
for
just
sure.
allegories and metaphors and stuff, like and
It's
how
about
you
knowing
reading
when.
it can be give you
Mhm.
a totally different perspective on it. And
Absolutely.
this John St. Julian actually
Yeah.
put some light on so much stuff of the Bible that made me
Mm,
want to go back to read it again
mm,
and read it in a different way
mm,
because
mm,
he was
mhm,
saying like the whole crucifixion and stuff it talks about um a literal crucifixion but he goes it's
mm,
also a part of a allegory where it's saying that in order to reach the highest state of consciousness you have to kill your
mm.
five senses.
Five senses. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I've
and
heard this.
and when he goes into the tomb and be reborn, that's obviously he's given away to his five senses and he's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
reborn as an
A spiritual
sorry,
being.
yeah, spiritual being, yeah.
Mm, mm,
So it's
mm,
more of a metaphor and
mm,
than it being totally taken literal as well,
mm,
And
mm, mm, mm.
there's lots of things he talks about in it that sheds a light on it and actually makes it more beautiful
Mm.
than what it's
Yeah, yeah,
made out
yeah.
to be, the way that
Yeah,
he
sure.
explains it. And I was like, fucking hell, mate, like
Yeah.
this is amazing.
It's
Like
got
what how and he goes, it's been totally tainted, and the way it's been
Yeah.
taught, and but he goes, it's taken at people, and there was lots of people in the comments and stuff saying,
Mm.
blasphemy, you're the devil,
Blasphemy,
and all
of
this sort of
course.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
When
of
he was
course, bro.
actually making their religion look amazing, it was
Yeah,
making
yeah,
it
yeah.
like wow, like this is it made him even want to turn to and I was fucking not up for that
Yeah.
stuff, do you know what I mean? But
It's
the way that he
that's
was
deep.
putting it was
That's
made it
deep.
so beautiful and I was like wow man, this makes sense, this stuff makes
Mm,
sense to me now.
mm,
When
mm,
it was being
mm,
told before I couldn't
mm,
buy it because
mm.
it didn't seem
Didn't resonate. Yeah.
yeah it didn't resonate with me. I felt like it was a bit I'm not sure
Mm,
whether do you know what I mean? So the
mm,
fact that
mhm, mhm,
somebody who's just interpreted it in
mm,
a more better way in my
mm,
opinion,
mhm, mhm.
that's the person you want be an
Yeah.
ambassador of your religion, not somebody
Yeah,
who,
yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean?
It's turning you away from the faith.
Exactly,
Exactly. Like the
exactly.
ultimate goal is to come to the faith, right? Like it's to
Yeah,
come to believe. So like if you're convincing someone to do that, for me, I'm like it's a win-win.
yeah, yeah. It's madness, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. So
Deep,
in
man. Deep. Very deep.
yeah, we're going deep, bro. We're going deep. But in terms of like your music and stuff, man, do you get like a lot of inspiration from sort of text that you've read and like the spiritual side of things and from
Yes,
your
sir.
science background? Do you kind of meld those together into kind of giving you some inspiration when you write and stuff as well?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, like on the track, on the EP, there's a track called Most High. You know,
Mm.
that's a
Yeah,
dedication
yeah,
to
dope
Allah
track,
because
man.
Allah's the Most High, right? So, you know, I bring these themes and thank you, bro. I bring these themes and concepts into my writing. But yeah, I do like with the science stuff, it's more
You
like
don't want to
just
drop
trying to
too
drop a
much in there
cheeky
because people might,
science, just
yeah,
trying
you,
to drop a
you
cheeky
don't want to
science
overdo it,
bar
but
in
like
there. You know
fucking,
what I mean?
yeah.
They're like, what's this guy on about? So yeah, it's that kind. For the science stuff, it's like more of a flavor. But yeah, I do definitely try and bring in aspects of like who I am, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I'm a multifaceted being, and I think I incorporate like the different identities that I embody in my writing and in my style. And ultimately, like through my writing, I'm just trying to level up, like not just my ability to write, but I'm trying to grow as a person, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm like leaving it, it's like my therapy in a way. It's like I'm leaving it in the track. And then I'm like, it's recorded, it's down. I can listen to it and I can be like, this is who I was then. You know what I mean? And then
yeah,
I can
yeah,
be like,
yeah,
right, cool, wicked, let's move on.
yeah,
So yeah, I think you nailed it, bro. I think you nailed it.
yeah, man. You bring the essence of Kemikali. It's got everything in there. Bit of the
That's it,
science,
bro.
bit of the religion. Mate,
That's
I've
it,
really
bro.
enjoyed the EP, man. Obviously, we played it
Thank
tonight
you.
as well
Thank you, bro.
on the
Thank
show.
you. Thank
So,
you.
yeah, every track's a
Yeah.
banger. But yeah,
Pleasure,
we're going to
man.
wrap it up now, man.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's been amazing chatting to you. And yeah, we'd love to have you back. Once my studio's built, which will be hopefully very soon,
Okay.
then eventually we'll get these where people will come down, they can do performances, and we'll get it all
Sure, bro.
recorded. And yeah, it's gonna elevate, man. But yeah, tonight's been brilliant.
Really
Thanks
good,
again,
man. Really
mate.
good
As I said,
conversation. It's been
everybody
vibes.
check out Kemikali, his new EP, Hypothesize This. Absolute banger. And you've got some show. Have you got any shows and stuff planned? Obviously, you DJ for Isle of Hip Hop. Also,
Yeah,
massive
yeah.
thank you to this guy,
Thank you, bro. Yeah,
killer
pleasure.
DJ. You know, he can do it. As I said, he can do it all. But yeah, so if you obviously, we can look forward to seeing you obviously hopefully on the live circuit as well, man, and obviously
Yeah,
performing those tracks and stuff. And you said you got some
absolutely.
other stuff dropping this year.
It's
So
all
again,
coming, bro. It's all coming. It's all
get
coming.
on it.
Second EP is recorded. Look out for that in the next month or so, maybe
Sick.
2 months max. And then the third one, I've just finished writing. I'm getting in the studio in the next couple of days, and I'm gonna drop that as well. So, yeah, bro, lots of music to come. You're gonna see. I'm just coming for people. I'm just coming for people
Better
this year.
watch out,
So, yeah.
people. And where can people
So if you
find
like,
your stuff, man?
you can find me kemikali.emb, KEMIKALI.emb, EMB, that's Eat My Beat.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok if I ever decide to actually go on there. I am on those platforms. And follow Eat My Beat, all one word. The second E is a three, like Eminem.
There you go, mate. Wicked.
All
Love
right,
having
man.
you on, mate.
Thank you so
And
much for this,
have a
bro.
good evening. Absolute
Pleasure.
slammer of a conversation. We could have spoken all night,
Bro, we could
um,
have gone
but
in.
uh, but yeah, we got to go to bed. We got shit to do, people. We got shit
That's
to
it,
do.
bro.
We got a
That's it,
fucking
bro.
day
I'm going to the
tomorrow.
masjid right now. I'm wrapped. I'm going to the mosque literally right now, bro.
All right, brother. Happy praying. Much
All right, bro.
love.
Thank you,
And
bro. Bless
yeah,
you, man.
thanks very much, man. Take care.
Take it easy.
Bye
Peace.
bye.